Hey guys, welcome back to the live stream. Thank you guys so much for checking in with us and watching us. This is our friend right here. You guys are going to hear from him very shortly. Right now, I want to make sure you guys go to the YouTube. You guys go over to the social medias. You guys are turning on those notification settings, and you guys are putting them on. So you guys get a notification every time we post. You guys will hear your phone, and you guys are going to see our faces right there. So every day, I want to make sure you guys are checking in with us. And without further ado,
hey, what's up, guys? King Pino here again. Happy to be here. Really excited for this episode. We got Dave, Jam Ali out here. Good friend of mine. Grew up with him. Known him for a really long time. So it's very special to get him all the way out here from Brooklyn since he's out there posted kind of far, but it's worth the trip. Glad that he made it out here. Obviously holidays coming up, so that we'll be having some posts regarding future events. Don't have any specific announcements today. But like Brian said, make sure you have the notifications on so that way you guys are aware of what we have coming up in the next couple of weeks. And over to Dave over here.
What's going on, everybody? I go by Jam Ali. I'm an artist from Brooklyn. Grew up in the Connecticut area, Greenwich, Norwalk, Stanford. What's going on? And yeah, shout out to y'all.
Man. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Super excited to have you. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go over to his page right now and you guys check out everything that he has on there. Segueing into what you do. There's a lot of leap of faith that goes on with investing, a lot of that. What was the leap of faith like to pursue your dream in music? What made you start and say, I'm going to start making beats, I'm going to start making music?
Basically invest in yourself, right?
Exactly.
At this point, I mean, it's kind of crazy because it's like thinking back and to be in Greenwich is actually kind of funny we're talking about this because, I always kind of was around music. I was surrounded, like, from my family. Like, if we were to go way back from my family, like, my dad, he used to be the guy who would bring all, like, the speakers and stuff like that to the party. And I used to help him carry that stuff. Mm-hmm. And his best friend used to have all the records. And he would, and together they would spin parties, like all the Haitian weddings and family parties, birthdays, whatever. So from that, like I always had a love for music. And then by the time I got to Greenwich, believe it or not, I was rapping with this kid, Zach Jehoviak, who was making beats. And I didn't ever think I was actually going to take it serious. It was something like that was like extracurricular. I was like focused on wanting to play sports, and I was always like doing all like random shit like skateboarding or snowboarding, whatever. And then I think it wasn't until I got to college, which it really got serious. And I was like, you know what? Let me pretty much take it from there and like go further with it. Mm-hmm. I had a little group with my boy Zach here. We was doing some things, and then I went to SAE, and we met a super producer by the name of Terrence Anderson. He produced, if anybody doesn't know Terrence, shout out to him. He produced the Whistle song by Joel Santana.
Yeah.
So I actually linked up with him, and I was in class with him. Mm. And then from there, it was like he kind of made me believe, like, yo, you can do this, bro. Like, you could really actually do this. So from there, I kind of made the decision I need to move out of Connecticut to go to New York because, like, that's where the music scene is. Like, I think I could have stayed in Connecticut and probably would have seen something, but something told me, like, I had to go to New York just to, like, learn.
That gut feeling.
Yeah. Like, learn, like, truly learn. And, like, New York is such a grind as far as the music scene. Like, there's so many artists trying to make it. So when you're out there and you're actually in it, I feel like it almost makes you grow. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You just have to grow. Like, you have to get better. You have to.
It's competition.
Yeah,
other people.
Yeah,
you want to be up there. You know, you want to get that recognition and be like, oh man, I heard your song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. No, I understand that completely because as we've been doing this. We meet all types of people. We meet artists, music producers, DJs. So it's like cool to see everybody's craft. And then it also pushes us to do a little better or to push our quality or to do something else because now we see what other people are doing. So it's not so much just what we are doing. It's like, you get a taste for competition. You're like, oh, damn, I got to step it up a little bit.
Yeah. If it's not music, if it's not video, if it's not, I don't know, extreme action sports, like you got to step it up. You know what I mean? Like,
how important do you think it is to fail in order to succeed?
Oh, bro, I fail every day.
But do you feel like that's part of the process?
If you're not comfortable with failing, or if you're not comfortable with at least trying, you're not gonna get anywhere. Because I just felt like even moving to the city, it was like just one big failure, because it's like, people got to understand too, it's like not failure, like something bad is happening. Like failure, like you're learning. Because if you don't fail, you don't learn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Adapt. You gotta hit that hurdle, and you gotta be like, oh shit, what do I do? You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you jump, go to the left, right, whatever you gotta do, but you gotta think about it for sure. It makes you that type of smart thinker. And what was that biggest obstacle for you? Was it the production side? Was it writing? Was it getting things down on beat? What was one of the biggest obstacles for you?
So before I became Jem Ali, I was known as Francois, and I was in a group called Black Hattie.
Okay.
Man, yo, D and I go way back, man. Oh man, I almost forgot, but yeah, I'll let you go because that's so funny how like I ran into you.
Yeah. I was literally telling you the story on the way over here. So when I was with that group, it was at that time the most difficult thing was kind of just learning how to work with others, right? Because I was in a group of 2 other people, it was 3 of us. So from there, it was just like trying to organize that schedule and like keep everybody motivated until the next show. You know, I was the main producer for the group. So it was like there was a lot of work kind of at hand. So I just feel like the production wasn't really too much. It wasn't too hard because I had went to the music program, went to SAE, and studied my production there. And then from there, I just kind of always knew like I'm just gonna continue learning. Like even today, like I'm still learning. So I'm not really worried about production so much. It's more about like now that I'm a solo artist, I got to do the other stuff, the marketing,
right. the business.
You know what I'm saying? And trying to get like be in a group of 3 people, and then you're trying to get the business and everybody on the same marketing page. And hey guys, we all got to post at this day, stuff like that. Like that's a little harder. You know what I mean? So the business, I would say definitely the business aspect of it was something I learned like really quick. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you feel like it's tougher to work on your own, or while you have to work off of another person's verse?
You know, it's funny. My girl just asked me this like recently, and I was like, it's weird because like working in a group is cool because other people will give you ideas that you weren't thinking of at the time, right? So that can influence the production and make it better. Working on your own though is like I can do whatever I want.
Right.
I'm gonna worry about shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna worry about impressing nobody or letting anybody down. So I feel like I have a little bit of freedom. I feel like I'm doing more progress now because especially investing, you gotta invest time. That's the other thing. It's like I can't stress this enough. Time, yo. Like
you can't get it back.
You really can't get it back. And like you go to work every day or whatever. It's like I'm not knocking anybody, but it's like if you really want to be an entrepreneur in anything, you gotta know when to be like, yo, maybe I don't need to work right now. I need to invest in me.
With all the stuff that you produce, your music, things like that, like where are people able to find what you've put out there and what you've done so far?
So as far as my artistry, you can find me anywhere, Spotify, Apple, Tidal. I don't know how many streaming services are out there. But that's for like the music, that's for like my music, like Jem Ali's music. And then for like Sound for Film, I'm part of a publishing company called Music Gateway, where I'm submitting my music to them and they're shopping it for film and TV. So
what is it like, creatively coming up with content for music versus coming up with something that you're on the spot for, you got a deadline, you have like content that you already have to make a song for. It's not just imagination,
Right.
You're what you like, it's what they're gonna like. What is that like?
It's definitely a little bit more stressful. Like I can like just, give you my experience with Bandier. Like I made that beat and then I made the first one and they were like, oh, I like this part. Can you do a little something different and just take those parts that they liked? And so I took that, went back to the drawing board and started over. And then finally got something that they liked. So I feel like with trying to kind of please a client, it's a little bit different. Like anything, client's always right. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit tougher, but like it also is challenging, right? So it's like it makes me want to do better. It makes me want to reach whatever goal they're looking for. Because the reality is, when you're making music, it never existed before.
Right.
You don't know what they want. They don't know what they want. They just have an idea, and it's to get the closest to that idea. So the difference with me and like doing my own private stuff is I get to work on something and then sit on it.
Right.
And kind of like, okay, do I like that? Do I like that verse? Do I like this beat or this sound and that? You know what I mean? And then I can go back and then kind of like adjust. So I would feel like definitely working for somebody is a little harder.
How important is marketing? Because, we're here, we're together. We wouldn't be here if we didn't know, we didn't have a podcast. You didn't have your music. You were putting it out there.
Right.
So how important is that? How is that like?
I mean, bro, once you said pull up on Tuesday, I was here. Like, that's how important it is, because, there's opportunities that like you kind of have to seize at that time. You know what I mean? Don't wait. That's the other thing too, is like, don't rush everything. But at the same time too, if things come up and you feel like it might be right, do it. If your gut tells you like, go do it. Because with marketing is, you being exposed. And this is obviously a great opportunity. So I was like, I jumped at it the first chance. So yeah, definitely I would say if you guys have any interviews that you want to do that somebody asks you to do, go do it. If you somebody asks you to create some content for your page, do that. Like, or whatever, if you got to come up with it, like putting yourself out there today is probably the more important thing. Because there's a lot of people who just put themselves out there, don't even make that great of music.
Right. Yeah.
But are like out here making millions a year, bro. Like what? Like, come on. So and what's so funny? Every time I like go out, it's become that like, oh yeah, bro, spit a freestyle for me. And I'm like, we're in a library, guys. Like, or wherever we are. Like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like, no, it makes, for me, it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable because I'm like, damn, I have to perform for somebody right now. And then I get in my head, and you're not going to hear my best freestyle.
Right.
But if you catch me at a party and we're chilling and we're vibing, I might just spit some crazy to you. And then, whatever,
Do you sometimes feel like that is needed, like that creative outlet per se, like a little bit of alcohol, maybe a little bit of bud, you're smoking, you're feeling good? But I'm saying, do you feel like sometimes people depend too much on that?
I asked myself that question, if I depend on weed while I to
be creative.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, can I make beats without weed? And then I did, and it was still fire. So I was like, okay, it's me. Like, it's not the bud. So I do understand people wanting to get comfortable. I don't really recommend drinking so much when you're creating, because it actually, for my personal experience, actually like kind of dumbs me down. It doesn't make me think like that.
Right.
But when I smoke, it's weird. It's like I could just think freely, and sometimes too freely. I gotta like contain that shit and like bring it back.
Too far.
Yeah, like reel it back.
Let me erase that.
Like, I can't say this shit. This is too crazy.
Has there ever been a time like that where you created something, you were so anxious to put it out, but you knew people weren't ready? Not like you per se, but the audience. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't. It was like winter and you wanted it to be a summer anthem or something like that.
I'll keep it a buck. My first two records I put out were Focus and Why. And that was at the top of 2020. And those were actually songs I wrote while I was in the group. So it was weird. I was like sitting on these songs that I thought were so like deep and so real, and I couldn't put it out then. And it was like, because how would people think like that, that may like make me feel like a little too separate or whatever. But like I put it out after the fact, and like I got such a big like feedback, like positive feedback. Like people were like, oh, like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like you had this, you know what I mean? Kind of the thing. So yeah, that was definitely a moment. That was definitely one of those moments where I sat on some music, and then like I put it out, And I was like, oh shit. And I had it for 3 years. You know what I mean? I had Y literally for 3 years. I had Focus for 2, before I dropped it. So, yeah.
What is that? Is that sometimes like an addictive feeling, like getting that feedback? And that's why. Do you feel like that's part of making music, is getting that feedback and having that feeling of, people being like, "Oh my God, you did that"? You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like that's a big part of why you do music?
I mean, dude, artists get nervous when they don't release something because they're too worried about like how people are gonna receive this. You know what I mean? I just watched a documentary on Kid Cudi's like kind of life, and one of his like really dark projects, he was like in a bad place and wasn't sure about how people were gonna receive it. He put it out, and apparently he saved like tons of people's lives. You know what I mean? People were in a bad place, and then they heard that and they're like, I don't want to end my life anymore. So like in that type of extreme situation, yeah, like for sure, you want that feedback, but it's like on the other end of that, you don't even know what you could possibly be doing for somebody. You know what I mean? So I look for that feedback, and I look for that, like, how am I going to make a person feel at the end of this? You know what I mean?
So if there's a good side too, is there a bad side? Because sometimes you want to put out something that you like, but are afraid of people's reaction because they're too sensitive?
Yes, for sure. For sure. Like, I mean, the whole world is sensitive right now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look what's going on with Chappelle right now.
Yeah.
And it's super. The other thing too is the industry is straight drugs, parties, guns, whatever bullshit. You put out a track when you're like why, where it's saying, I bleed the same blood you bleed. Like, I feel what you feel. You know what I mean? People don't want to hear that shit sometimes. Like, they just want to be in the club and party. But at the same time, too, it's like now I feel like it's even harder to put stuff out like that because people just want the bullshit, So for right now, yeah, it's kind of like a different climate to like put out any like touching music. You know what I mean? Like,
do you feel like it's just a generational gap? Like it's versus the music that people are creating now, which is just vibing, party, has nothing to do with message, has nothing to do with, like lyrics, pretty much. Well, I don't want to say because somebody's going to come after me, but you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot more meaning and thought, I feel like, in my opinion, that...
Look, there's a ton of artists that weren't lyrical that made you feel. DMX to be number one. He just literally made you feel. And he wasn't a Nas spitting stuff that was going over your head that you had to go back and listen to 15 times. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's obviously much harder to get a message out there today because nobody wants to hear a message. Everybody feels like they think they got it or they have their world figured out, which is so far from the truth. You know what I mean? I don't got this shit figured out. You don't got this shit. Like I know that, and
right.
So yeah, I think it's a little bit harder now. It's like you want to put something out, but you don't know how it's necessarily going to be received, mainly because everybody's just on another wave. For example, I just put out Clap. It's literally booming faster than any of my other tracks that I've ever put out. And I knew it was a club track. I knew it was going to slide. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling the girls, shake that ass, shake that thing, clap. And like, literally, like, I'm at 6,000 streams in 2 weeks.
Right.
I took, it took Why, which is a very meaningful song, like, I don't know, 2 months to get to 5,000.
Yeah.
It's at 11,000 now, but like, it took a while to get there. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, for sure.
Do you sometimes feel like that pressure pushes you to be something you're not?
Nah, but you know why? If I put something out, and he can attest to us, I sent to some whack ass shit. If I record something I don't resonate with, I won't put it out because I don't feel it. You know what I mean? That's for me. I can see that, like, I can listen where I hear an artist like, you just rode that wave, bro. You didn't even put anything into this track, and that's not how I treat time. If I'm sitting down writing some songs, even if it's gonna be some corny shit like Clap, I'll make sure that it's like memorable. Like I talk about, even in that song, I talk about a girl making her money and like, you know, own your shit. Like, yeah, like, if you're gonna do that, then do it, you know? And like that's different. It's not just twerking. It's like it's like I'm bigging up women, you know what I mean? So yeah.
And where can we find that track? Where is the main page where you post most of your tracks?
I'd probably say Instagram's kind of running right now as my lead. I had 2,300 followers before I got hacked. But I have a link tree in there. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on YouTube, Tidal, Apple, Pandora, wherever you guys listen to music, you can find it right now.
That's amazing, man. And with that, Dave, we're gonna end the stream here. We really appreciate you for coming, man. Lots of great knowledge, lots of great experiences, lots of anecdotes you guys talked about. I want to make sure you guys are going over to his social media. You guys are checking out Clap. You guys are going and giving that a like, pushing those numbers up. We appreciate you guys for viewing. We'll go to Brayan here for any last words.
Yeah, guys, and don't forget, as Dave had mentioned, for new artists and things like that, like, you know, it's not always just about your own work, but also getting paychecks on the side. So getting it on, you know, branding it, getting it promoted on, you know, commercials or whatever it is. There's other avenues that you can also, you know, make your money off that too. I think that's a great idea. So don't forget to look into those resources for yourselves. Also, shout out to them. Got their sweater on again.
Yes.
Word.
The higher education movement. So
okay, cool.
About, like, you know, again, artists growing, and we had them on the show here as well. And, and they're really big on, you know, people just like really, you know, gaining knowledge of the world and themselves, and like making, you know, growing for themselves, and obviously, you know, helping others along the way and all that.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to keep an open mind on all the situations and building from there. And I think they got the skull up on here.
Yeah, make sure you guys go over to our YouTube channel. Hard. You guys can see the full episode on the YouTube. So make sure you guys are going over, check out them. Make sure you guys check out his Twitch channel. He was talking about resources. Great resource right here. You guys are into music production. You guys are into songwriting, everything. Make sure you guys go check out his Twitch channel. And we'll go over to you, man. Any last words? Anything you would like to tell the viewers?
Shout outs or anything?
Yeah. Shout out to Mike Ashby. He was the engineer that actually recorded Bodak Yellow for Cardi B. He got a Grammy off of that. I'm actually working with him right now. I'm assisting him and helping him out at his studio. Shout out to Terrence Anderson and Petro FPV. He literally taught me how to produce, taught me the whole game, and he groomed me, you know, from the start. Shout out to Obi Trice-Canovi, who's on the streams every day. My boy Zach, he's been helping me out and kind of getting me started up again. Shout out to my girl, baby, I love you, and thanks for, you know, supporting me and believing in my dream. And then shout out Soul, is my brother. Black Caddy is now Hood Sahara. It's a new group. And then I'm doing a solo thing as well. And then I feel like I'm missing people, but I got.
It's tough to get along.
I feel like I got y'all. Check out my Instagram at @IAM_Jam_Ali. That's the new page, not the old joint. Please don't go to that one. It's not me. And then shout out to Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/Jam_Ali.
Thank you guys again. Make sure you guys go over to his page, go over to Pino's page, go over to our page. Make sure you guys turn those notifications settings on. And until next time, guys, thank you guys for watching.
You guys.